Welcome to today's webinar with Orion. I'm excited to be here with you guys today. My name is Anne Bruff, and I am the webinar moderator here at Orion, and I'm looking forward to sharing this presentation with you today on healthy connections. So I appreciate everybody who's joined us so far, and um, before we jump into today's topic, just the housekeeping that we usually discuss, there are 5 points you're getting for your health promotion that will be added to your account today. So you can look for that at your account at myorion.com. Also, as always, a copy of this recording and a copy of the slides will also be available to you within your account under the Health Promotion tab at myorion.com. So if there's anything you want to review later or re-listen to, it will be there for you as well. And then finally, if you want to participate with us, go ahead and make sure to use that questions or chat feature that's right there in front of you. So we really look forward to that. I am actually going to be presenting today's webinar to you. If you've been participating in these webinars for a while, every month we have a different guest on here sharing their expertise with us. And today is a topic I'm really passionate about and I've wanted to present, and so you get me. So I'm going to introduce myself just really briefly. Like I said, I am the webinar moderator here at Orion. I've also been a health coach here at Orion for about 13 years. Recently stepped away from health coaching to do a little bit more behavior coaching, focusing more on mental and emotional wellness. And this topic of healthy connections definitely falls under that umbrella. So there's a lot of different ways to be healthy. There's a lot of different things we can do to be healthy, and social wellness is definitely part of that. And we're going to discuss that a little bit more, but it does take more than just eating your vegetables and working out to be healthy. Those are important habits and important things to do. But a lot of things really contribute to our overall well-being. And so today's topic on building and maintaining healthy relationships is really an important piece to being, completely healthy. So let's go ahead and jump in. Dr. Valerie Maholmes is a psychologist, but she's also a relationship expert. And she has said we just can't underestimate the power of a relationship in helping to promote well-being. And I believe that is true. If you think about the people in your life who are important to you and the relationships that are important to you, you will know that really for good or bad, they do make a difference in your well-being. And so the idea and the goal is to create healthy relationships that really help promote that well-being in our lives. So before we get into all, more details, I want to make sure we define what is healthy. Every relationship really does exist on a spectrum from healthy, and at the other end you have unhealthy, and I guess even further down that spectrum you have abusive. And we're not really going to spend a lot of time today in this forum discussing unhealthy and abusive relationships, but I do want to add that if you feel you are in one of those, or you feel like you need some help, you can talk to your health coach here at Orion, and they can put you in touch with experts who can help you with that situation, because I know that is a tough thing and it does happen. So your health coach at Orion is a safe place. It is a private place where you can discuss that and they can help you find the help that you need in that respect. But a sign of a healthy relationship, which is our goal, is feeling good about yourself and your partner, family members, or friends. So you feel good about yourself when you're around these people. You feel safe when you talk to them about how you feel. You listen to each other. You feel valued and trusted. And of course, that is the ideal. And hopefully, my hope is that we have people in our life that we feel that way with and that we interact that way with. And if we don't, we're going to talk about some ways today to find that to promote your overall health and well-being. So we are going to talk about building a social life. Now, I'm going to put the idea of relationships as part of this webinar under the umbrella of friendship, because your friends can be your neighbors, your friends can be your coworkers, your friends can be your family members, your spouse. I mean, a friend, the idea of friendship envelops all of these other hats that we wear in our relationships. So when we talk about building a social life, I'm going to be referring to it as building friendships. And you can really apply that to any of those people or any of those relationships that you really want to improve and increase in your life. So the biggest point, the exclamation point, the overall message that I would love for everyone to take home from this webinar today is that building a social life is up to you. You cannot wait for it to fall in your lap. Building a social life takes work, it takes effort, and really you do have the power to make your social life what you want. I was coaching a woman who lived in New York City, and she was about 30 years old. She lived in an apartment by herself and was finding herself really struggling with loneliness. She was kind of at an age where some of her friends and close people had gotten married and moved out of the city. She wasn't living near her family in the city. And then, people move for jobs or whatever. And just all of a sudden, she seemed to find her social network missing. And so she was struggling with that. And she had talked about how she realized one night that she was dating her couch because she just spent every night at home with her couch watching TV or YouTube or whatever and not putting in any effort to build relationships. So she talked about how it's a lot of work to put on nice clothes and get your hair done and look nice and go out and talk to people. And she found it a little bit exhausting. But really her life was lacking that piece of well-being, and she was really looking to find that for herself, not just in somebody to date, but also just in good friends that she wanted to be able to socialize with and spend time with. And so she had to put in the work, right? Nobody was going to find her at home on her couch. Friends aren't going to just knock on the door. She had to go out and find it. And so if I can give you guys anything to take away from this webinar today, it is that message. I also want to add that I know a lot of this stuff isn't going to be new or something you've never known before, but that's kind of how healthy habits are. And it's usually just a whole lot of basics that we practice and work on and get better at. And so today's webinar is probably going to feel like that in the fact that it may not be something you don't know, but it can be something that you remember, or you decide, yes, I need to make an effort at that area of my life so that I can, build the life that I want. So anyway, building a social life takes work. It also takes courage, right? To put yourself out there. Sometimes you have to fake confidence that you don't feel when it comes to approaching people, getting to know them, and kind of putting yourself out there in that world. The other thing to remember is that just like everything we do here at Oriant, we really do promote the baby step idea. So you can start small in your efforts to connect with others and build those skills to improve your interactions. So for example, if you're someone who really is a little bit isolated, some of us choose to do that. Some of us have pulled back. Sometimes people in our world have just kind of moved on, lots of different reasons. But if you find yourself feeling fairly isolated, you can make a small goal, for example, to have a certain number of interactions each day, smiling at someone at the store, or maybe speaking to someone in the elevator, learning someone's name in your exercise class, those kinds of things. Some people will set a goal to have 5 interactions that day, or 5 additional interactions that day where they really do put in an effort to connect with other people. Really quickly, the idea about the smile. It's funny, you can practice this in the mirror. Like I say, these are skills that you can do. So what you do, even to practice your smile, quick eyebrow pop, easy smile. So when you see someone, you're passing them in the aisle, cubicle land, eyebrow pop, smile. Hey, how you doing? That easy, but it's just a very good gesture, body language that is open, that is warm, and exciting. So anyway, and I have to quickly say hi to Nick because he messaged me and said, hi, hey Nick, I miss chatting with you. I hope you're good. So glad you're here today. So anyway, wanted to give you guys that invitation. If you do anything else, if you want to pick an easy thing to take away from this, it's that easy smile, eyebrow pop, easy smile, say hello, and call people by name. That's great. So people love to hear their names. So next, if you're trying to build your social life, maybe you need to add some people to your social life if you're feeling like it's not what you want at this point. So you need to find some potential friends. So first thing you can do is look into the people you already know. There's probably a handful of people that you already know that could become part of your social circle. So there might be acquaintances that you're friendly with when you run into each other, but maybe you never see each other otherwise, or perhaps people at work or in your classes who you get along with. So they're already, friendly to you and you're good acquaintances. People maybe that you've gotten along with in the past but have lost touch with. There's probably people in your world who have expressed interest in being a friend to you, and maybe you just didn't take them up on it at the time, that maybe now you could put a little effort into. So those are all examples of acquaintances that you could possibly look at as potential friends. Now, if you've thought through those kinds of people, your acquaintances in your world, and you're like, hey, they're fine, but I'd really like to meet some new people, then the easiest ways to meet new people really are to look into hobbies or classes, right? Those kind of structured groups where they're meeting, whether it's joining a team, a book club, art class, choir, those kinds of things where there's a regular rotation where you're going to be seeing them. That's a good way to do it. And you already would know that you have something in common because you're doing the thing that you're doing together. And the other option is to use your current friends or acquaintances and try to meet their friends. So friends of friends is a great way to meet new people. This time I met my husband, and I bet half of the people on the line probably can say that they've met someone important to them through a friend of a friend. So that's a great way to think about your networking in your circle and try to add to it. My husband had this experience last weekend. So he at work likes to fish. Well, he loves to fly. He doesn't fish at work, I'm sorry, but he loves to fly fish. And he has a coworker who also loves to fly fish. And so they've had water cooler talk for a while about fly fishing, and finally decided to actually make a plan and go. So last weekend they got together to go fly fishing. But the coworker that my husband went with ended up inviting his brother along. So now there's 3 of them fishing together. And my husband and the brother hit it off really well, spent more time chatting that day than he actually did with his coworker, exchanged contact information, and now he's kind of got a new friend there, right? Someone else that he can reach out to and go fishing with if he wants to. So kind of that idea of meeting friends of friends is a really great way to boost your social life. So keep that in mind. So once you've kind of figured out, okay, there's going to be some people, I have some acquaintances, right? And I want to work on turning them into friends. Then the next step, of course, is to make great conversation. So 3 ways to make great conversation, you guys. This is the key. So the first one is to make sure that you're curious. Ask good questions. Hey, where did you go to college? Or, if it's someone at work, how did you decide this field? Or what is it about this career that, drew you to it? Ask good questions when you're just chatting about things. The next thing is once they've, answered your question, try to relate to what they say. If there's any possible way that you can say me too to what they're saying, or relate, connect with them about your conversation, that's really important. So for example, if you had asked someone, where do you go to school? Or where did you go to school? And they reply and say, I went to University of Utah. You could say, oh, great. I love University of Utah. Do you watch football? Do you know they're doing so great this year? And they might be like, oh yeah, did you see the game? And then it's like spurring on this conversation, and you've now found some common ground. Or they might say, yeah, I don't watch football. Okay, cool. Well, what is it about, your program that made you decide it? And you kind of just go back asking another open-ended question. But make sure whatever they say that you relate it back, that you relate yourself to that, to draw that common ground in. And then the third step is always make them feel good because people really love to talk about themselves. They really love to feel heard and they love to feel good. So maybe in that same scenario, you'd be like, "Oh, I bet you're a pretty good student. I can see that you have some great work ethic." Compliment them about what you're talking about and try to have them leave that conversation feeling good. And that's really the secret sauce to great conversation and getting to know people better. So be curious, relate to what they say, and make them feel good. The next step is also critical when you want to turn an acquaintance into a friend. The next thing you will do is throw out the soft invite. So, for example, we've got these two gals hiking here. Let's say that they were coworkers and they were chatting on break or at lunch or something one day and talking about hiking. The one friend says, "What do you like to do, on the weekends?" And the other one's like, "Oh, I love to go hiking." "Oh, you do? Great, me too." So they've found that common ground. At this point, someone could say, "We ought to go sometime." All right, that's a soft invite because we ought or should, we should go sometime. So there's definitely a easy way out there, right? So the person could say, uh, "Oh yeah, that'd be cool," and just kind of drop it, and you can kind of really read that response as, polite, but maybe not too excited about the idea. Or the person might say, "Yeah, let's do it. We should find a time to go." If that's the case, then the next step in that great moment where it's not awkward and it's easy is to exchange contact information. She'd be like, "Perfect, give me your cell number and I'll text you next time I'm going." Or, "Where are you on Messenger?" And I'll make sure to, we'll set something up. So that's the critical place where you exchange contact information. My daughter told about this cute girl at school who walked up to her and says, "What's your number?" And it kind of made my daughter a little bit apprehensive because she's like, "Why? Why do you want it?" But if in this context, it's not awkward, it's not weird, it's not pushy to exchange contact information. So it's the perfect opportunity to get that. So then you can reach out again at a further date. You also could, in this moment, firm it up to a more of a firm invite where you're like, "Do you want to go Saturday? I can pick you up at noon," something like that. So who knows how these two gals in the picture actually got their plans together to go hiking, but that's exactly how you do it. Is you throw out that easy offer, that easy invite, read their response. If it's positive, exchange contact information. If it's negative and they don't really seem that excited, no harm, no foul. It's not awkward. It's not embarrassing. Just it's not the right time for them. And that's fine. You can go on with your conversation and it doesn't feel weird or you don't even feel that rejected. It just wasn't the right time. If you do exchange that contact information, then the final step, of course, is to be the first. Don't worry too much about sometimes this is the part that we get in our head and we get nervous. We don't want to put ourselves out there. But just keep this in mind to be the first. Like be proactive. Be the first one to reach out. Be the first one to compliment. Be the first one to text. Be the first one to extend an invite. Just that's where you got to be, put yourself out there and put in the work. Now, after a while, some friendships might start to feel one-sided where you're always the one texting, you're always the one inviting. And if that's the case after a little while, then you might want to step back and scale it back to something that feels more balanced. But in the beginning, don't worry, like it's always me doing the work. That's just kind of laying the groundwork of building a friendship. And it's kind of, like I say, like the gal dating her couch, you can't wait for people to do that. If you do, you'll just wait because a lot of us really aren't that good. So just be the first to reach out. Okay. Now, if you think another great tip for building a social life, especially if you want more friends. If you're at a place in your life where you really are looking to fill it up with some more people and some more healthy connections, then say yes to everything. Now, of course, I'm not saying illegal things or unsafe things, like don't, agree to go rob the bank together. But if someone invites you to do something and it's outside of your comfort zone, or you're just not sure if they're your favorite person, still say yes. Just live on the edge a little bit and don't count it out. So, like, really, the worst thing that could happen is you may not have a good time, but I think you can survive that, right? So, if they want to go to Zumba and you're like, oh, I'm not sure what that is, that's okay. Still just go. Still just go. And try it. It'll just add an experience to you, make you a little bit more interesting. And you may end up having a good time. You may end up meeting friends of friends at that place. And, so don't be too picky. They do say, research shows that people who are more shy and have a limited social circle are more picky with who they agree to spend time with. And often those are also people who want more friends. So let that guard down just a little bit. Do things outside of your comfort zone and see what happens. Okay, so these things I just described is essentially the friendship formula. So you're going to meet people, you're going to hang out, and you're going to keep hanging out, and you're going to just repeat that over and over. You can repeat that for as many friends as you want to try to collect. And sometimes you'll introduce those friends to other friends, and it will create a circle of friendship for you. But that's pretty much it. Meet people, hang out, and keep hanging out. Now, I know it's a little more complicated than that, and that's why I wanted to spend a minute talking about how to grow and deepen friendship. So once you've done that, right, you've gone hiking, you've become, friends now instead of acquaintances. You would call each other friends. Now you want to maybe try to grow and deepen this relationship. Now you're going to have people on all different levels, right? Some people are just going to be more casual friends, and then some people might even grow into that best friend, or even, a partner. So this is how you do it. Of course, you got to spend time together. It's really hard to grow a relationship without spending time. So you need to make an effort to get together regularly. So I coach a woman who is 80 years old. She's 80 years old, and she has been going out to lunch once a month with her high school friends. So they've been going out to lunch monthly for 60 years. I think that is like the coolest thing ever. I can't believe that this group of women have made each other a priority for 60 years for a monthly lunch date. That took effort. That did not just happen. They had to make each other a priority and make the effort to get together. And that's really cool. But that's how we do grow and deepen friendships. And to hear her talk about how this group of friends has enriched her life is really satisfying to hear. It's been a wonderful thing for her. And it just makes me think I really should call my high school friends. So anyway, that is something to do. Somebody just popped in with a comment saying that they have a group of friends for 30 years that goes to dinner once a month. Like, how cool is that? If anyone else has anything they want to share here, go ahead and pop it in, because I love that. 30 years once a month, that's amazing. And again, took some effort and probably really enriching in your world. So that's awesome. Now going to dinner or to lunch or whatever in groups is awesome, but to really deepen relationships, you need to spend time talking one-on-one. Conversation in a group is different than conversation one-on-one. And one-on-one conversation is a little more personal, a little more intimate, and takes a little more effort, actually. And so making sure you're spending time talking one-on-one is important. My favorite one-on-one talk, I call them walk-in talks. I love to invite a friend to go hiking or walking because it gives you something to do together. It's healthy, it's outside, it's fresh air and sunshine, yet it provides that opportunity to just talk one-on-one. So that's wonderful. If you meet someone on a sports team or in a club, then try to get away from that formal structure and do an unstructured activity together. And that's another great way to help grow a relationship. staying in touch between hanging out is also important. So say for this friend or this lady I coach who has been going out monthly for 60 years. They go out once a month, but maybe one of her friends had surgery and so she gave her a call and said, "Hey, I was calling to see how you were doing," right? So she's reaching out in between to deepen that friendship. Women will often send a text, "Just thinking about you today. I hope you're doing good." I don't know if men do that quite so much, but I know like my husband will text a friend in the middle of a game and be like, "Are you watching this?" Like he did that during the World Series, right? So they're not hanging out, but they're just touching base, right? Like sending a message. So it's awesome. Of course, it's important to be open and vulnerable. Vulnerability is a big thing. Sometimes we're not that good at being vulnerable, but it's really important to be honest, let them know your struggles, let them know your inner thoughts, and support each other in difficult times. That's really a great way to, of course, grow your relationships. And then finally, my favorite one is to have some adventures, like plan some stuff, do some things that are exciting and adventurous that will make you laugh and be a good memory, because that's also a great way to bond. So, and then lastly, I have teenagers in my house, and one thing I'm always telling them when I'm trying to give social advice is to be a good friend. It's really true that to have good friends, you have to be a good friend. So you have to be positive and maybe fun to be around sometimes, and you need to be interested in what they have to say. You need to avoid being too argumentative. I know that's a trap that sometimes we fall into. You have to be dependable and maybe willing to go out of your way. It's really important to avoid gossip. If someone's gossiping to you, you better believe they're probably going to gossip about you. So gossip and blabbing confidences are probably two big things that can hurt a relationship. So be aware of that. So gossiping and breaking confidences is not a great thing for building friendships, but just show good character in general. Be a good friend, be a good person, and you will draw good friends and good people to you. And I think that that's really true. I wanted to, as I was kind of considering this presentation, I wanted to put this into practice and practice what I'm preaching just a little bit. And so I have a neighbor who's been an acquaintance for a little while. And I got her contact information and I sent an invite, right? I gave her a call actually. Weird, right? A phone call instead of a text message. But I called her up and invited her family to come with my family. We have a tradition around Thanksgiving where we call it the turkey bowl, where we go bowling and, try to get a turkey anyway, so I invited this other family to go bowling with us, and we're going to call it our little turkey bowl. And our family is going to compete against their family and see who wins. And now we've decided to make a bet where the loser has to shovel the winner's driveway the first time it snows. So anyway, but I did that with someone we've not hung out with before, and someone who really is an acquaintance, but she was really receptive and accepted the invitation. Now we've made plans, so we get to go hang out and hopefully have a good time and hopefully hang out again and followed the formula, right, to create a new friendship in our life. And I wanted to kind of set that example for my family as well. So anyway, it worked. I challenge you to try it. Think of their acquaintances in your life, invite them to go bowling and see how that works. But back to what we really started with, the idea that social relationships are critical to well-being, and they're healthy and they're good, and they really are the spice of life. And I really truly believe that. One of the studies I read said 70% of your happiness is determined by the relationships in your life. And you can weigh that with yourself and see if you feel like that's true. I think I do believe that it is a strong cause of the good feelings that we have, and it can cause some angst, but you can put a lot of work into improving your social life and making it what you want if you're willing to put in that effort. Put yourself out there just a little bit and see what happens. So if you want to learn more about this, this is a great resource. There's a book, the Social Skills Guidebook, that is really detailed in the basics, which we pretty much covered, and a lot of the little nuances, like if you're insecure, or if you feel like you're ugly, or if you've got bad habits, or anything. So anything you feel like you might struggle with socially, if you feel like you're that socially awkward person, which I think we kind of all are, but if you feel like that's you can use this guidebook and check it out, because I feel like this has got some really great information for you. So I guess in summary, to wrap up, just remember that you create your social life, and it's up to you to make it happen. Remember not to take things personally. If somebody doesn't accept your invitation, it's really not about you. It's really more like they're just not available right then. Some people may have enough friends. Some people may be working 2 jobs, or financially things are tight or stressful, or health. I mean, you don't know people well enough at that level to know if they're even available for a friendship or relationship then. Keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Don't hold on too tight. Just, try to make a lot of touch points and see which ones stick, but don't overcomplicate it. Don't be picky. Like I mentioned, try to keep that open mind about people, and then be patient and persistent. You're going to have setbacks. That's normal. It happens to everybody. Try not to get discouraged, and just give it some time and see what you can do with this part of your life to just add a whole lot of value and richness to the life you're enjoying. So that's our message for today. I really appreciate everybody joining us. Like I said, this will be available online if you want to check it out later, if you want to review the slides or whatnot. Our webinar next month will be happening mid-December. I don't have the date in front of me to tell you, but it will be happening for our last one of 2019. And we've got some really exciting stuff set up for 2020, some great guests lined up, and a lot of presentations already in the works. So make sure you keep joining us each month for our Wellness Wednesday. Thanks, you guys. Have a great day.